Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. I'm your host, Wesley, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Mary.
And today we are doing another trivia game. We've done 2 Survivor ones so far, which, of course, Mary won the first one, as people may remember, in a controversial fashion. And the second time, the Survivor Wildcard podcast didn't win, though they did have harder rules.
Yeah, to be fair, they had much more difficult game than I did.
They did. They had much harder questions. Today, we're actually going to do... so we're still doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, basically, but we're doing an Amazing Race edition because coming up here soon, there's a story video releasing on the channel about Ethan and Jenna. Ethan Zahn and Jenna Maraska. I figured now was the perfect time because we've already seen Ethan Zahn's story on Survivor Africa, and we just got done seeing Jenna Maraska's story on Survivor the Amazon. So why not? Let's do Amazing Race trivia and let's do a story video about them. How do you feel about your Amazing Race knowledge, Mary?
So I feel a little bit better about this quiz only because I feel more prepared in studying. Like the first time I was like, I should know these. I've kind of studied. I'm good. But I actually really studied on this one. And I have seen a lot of these seasons that we're going to, with Amazing Race, I've seen a lot of the seasons with survivors on Amazing Race. So I just feel a little bit more prepared. Yes.
That's good because 9 out of the 31 seasons of the Amazing Race feature a survivor, if not multiple survivors on them. So really, all of our questions are focused on those 9 seasons. So for those who are not uber familiar with the Amazing Race but love Survivor, I think this will be interesting because these are all focused on survivors who have played on the Amazing Race and their seasons. Like we could pull questions from just the season that they were on. Doesn't mean it's about them necessarily. However, there's a lot to unpack here. There's definitely enough. And how we're going to do this is there's 15 questions. If you answer all 15 correctly, you win the Amazing Race. I don't have a title for you because they don't really do titles.
You're just the winner.
You win. And if you miss, you can miss 2 questions and consider them non-elimination questions. And if you miss a question, you get a speed bump question. If you get the speed bump question correct, you're back in the race and you move on. If you miss 3 questions, though, you're out. If you miss a speed bump question, you're out. And you also get 3 50-50 lifelines at any point in time. And even on speed bumps, you can eliminate 2 of your options and just have 1 correct option, 1 incorrect option available, making it 50-50.
Okay.
All right. You ready to do this thing?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's play Who Wants to Race Around the World? Question 1. Keith and Whitney, who both played on Survivor South Pacific, competed on what season of The Amazing Race? A. Amazing Race 23, B. Amazing Race 25, C. Amazing Race 26, or D. Amazing Race 22.
Okay, so I was really hoping that if you were going to ask what season that they were on, my options would be like earlier seasons versus later seasons, because I will admit I am terrible at numbers for some reason. So these are all later seasons. So I am not really sure. I know they were on a later season, obviously, but I'm not really sure which one. So can I go ahead and use one of my 50-50s?
On the first question?
On the first question?
No.
I would just hate to get a speed bump already.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're going to narrow it down. Your options are B, Amazing Race 25, or C, Amazing Race 26.
No, that really helped a lot. Thank you. Sarcasm. So I know it wasn't like the latest one, so I'm going to go with my gut here and say 25.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
That is correct. Amazing Race 25 had Keith and Whitney from Survivor South Pacific. Most people may not remember Keith and Whitney from South Pacific and may not remember them from Amazing Race 25, and all that is fair. Actually, they're the team, I think, out of everyone who I'm surprised even got on the Amazing Race from Survivor. So, all right, moving on to question 2. On what 2 seasons of the Amazing Race did Mike White from Survivor David vs. Goliath compete on? A, Amazing Race 14 and 19. 2, I'm sorry. A, Amazing Race 14-19. B, Amazing Race 13 and 18. C, Amazing Race 14 and 18. Or D, Amazing Race 13 and 19.
Okay, so I definitely remember watching Mike White. I really liked him both on Survivor and on The Amazing Race. And this helps narrow it down a little bit because there's two numbers. I'm pretty sure that he was on 14 and 18. So that's C, 14 and 18.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. He was on Amazing Race 14, which is an all newbie season, and then Amazing Race 18, which was a returnee season called Unfinished Business, which I remember we watched, and we were rooting for the Cowboys that season.
Yes, I do love the Cowboys.
Once again, the Cowboys disappointed us.
They just can never follow through.
I know. They have a huge flaw in their game, and it's called getting to the place they need to get to.
Yes.
Once they get there, they're fine, but
Yes.
just getting there is a struggle for them.
So I had a fun fact about question 1.
Oh, did you?
You
about
said
the Keith and Whitney question?
Yes, because I just remember this. You said you wondered why they were picked for the Amazing Race. I'm pretty sure because I read their bios and they both said something that could bring them down on the race is that they fight with each other, and as we all know, people like drama. So I really feel like that's one of the reasons they got picked was because they may argue, or they argued a lot.
Well, and they did actually argue on the race.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess
for
that all
some
worked
reason,
out.
there always has to be like the couple that argues. So
They needed the drama.
Drama.
All right, question 3. On the Amazing Race 11, Rob and Amber finished in first place on how many legs? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4?
Okay, so the second time Rob and Amber played, which was this season 11, they did not do as great as they did in the first season.
No.
But when they were still, they still did really well while they were on the show. So they went out early, but I'm pretty sure they finished first really frequently while they were still in the show. So I'm going to go with, it wasn't 1, I know that. I don't think it was 4. So I'm going to go with 3. I'm pretty sure it was 3.
Is 3 your final answer?
Yes, that is my final answer.
That is correct.
Yay.
They finished in first place 3 times before getting eliminated on the 4th leg. So first, and I think they got 8 out of 8 or something like that.
Right.
Which is so crazy because that season I think had 3 or 4 non-elimination legs, just not the one.
Not for Rob and Amber.
I know if they got the non-elimination leg, they were just doing so well. I wonder if they could have kept up the rest of the race, but we'll never know. Okay, question 4. On the Amazing Race 31, which Survivor pair made it the furthest in the race? A, Chris and Brett, B, Corinne and Eliza, C, Rupert and Laura, or D, Rob and Amber?
Well, it's not Rob and Amber because they did not play this season. Rupert was the second team out, so it wasn't him. So I'm going to go with Chris and Brett. I liked them.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that is my final answer.
That is correct. Chris and Brett did get the furthest. They finished in 6th place on the Amazing Race 31. So fun fact for anyone listening who doesn't already know, the Amazing Race 31 featured 3 teams from Survivor, which is Chris and Brett, who were both on Millennials vs. Gen X, Corinne and Eliza. Eliza you may know from Micronesia and Vanuatu. Corinne, who was on top of my head, Gabon and Caramoan. And then, of course, Rupert and Laura, who were both on Blood vs. Water, but you know Rupert from other seasons. And no, Rob and Amber were not on the season. I just needed a 4th answer.
Well, yeah.
And
Thanks
then they
for
had
throwing them in there. Well, they did play, so I guess.
Yeah, and they had 3 Big Brother teams as well. So for anyone who's a fan of Big Brother, they had a few people you may know. And I encourage you to check that season out. It was really good. All right, on the next question, number 5. On the Amazing Race 21, Natalie and Nadia, as you remember them from Survivor San Juan del Sur and then Survivor Winners at War, for Natalie, finished in last place on how many legs? A, none, B, 1, C, 22, C2, or D, 3? Definitely not 22. So on the Amazing Race 21, Natalie and Nadia finished in last place on how many legs? None, 1, 2, or 3?
Is this the second time they played or the first time?
I can't answer that question. On the Amazing Race 21, Natalie and I finished in last place on how many legs?
I have 3 50-50s.
Yep, you've already used one.
I'm going to have to use another one.
Okay, so your options come down to either 1 or 2.
That doesn't help.
I'm not here to help you. I'm here to see if you know
Okay,
these
I'm
things.
pretty sure it's 2. I'm going to go with 2.
Was that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. They got the 4th place this season. They were almost eliminated the leg before they got eliminated, but it was not an elimination leg, so
Right.
it just ended up getting delayed a leg. So yeah, they finished in last place on 2 separate legs, but it was back to back. All right, you have like 9 questions left. I forgot how many questions. 10 questions left. You only won 50-50, so I sure hope you're good to go. All right.
I got this.
Question 6. Rob and Amber first competed on The Amazing Race 7. Which one of these facts about The Amazing Race 7 is true? A, it is the first season with 12 teams. B, it is the first season to have speed bumps for teams that finish in last place on non-elimination legs. C, it's the first season to visit Antarctica. Or D, is the first season to not go around the world or circumvent the world, depending on the word.
Yeah, that's D. They didn't circumvent the globe.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that's my final answer.
That is correct. For some reason, this is the first season of The Amazing Race where they didn't actually circle the world. They like went out and then came back. So
yeah, I remember reading that and thinking that was a little weird because like that's one of their plugs is like you get to go all the way around the world. So.
But in this case, they didn't actually literally go around the world, and people to this day still don't fully understand why. All right, question 7. Which survivor pair finished the worst out of any team on The Amazing Race? So this means they finished the worst on one individual season. A, Natalie and Nadia. B, Rupert and Laura. C, Ethan and Jenna. Or D, Rob and Amber.
Okay, this one also, I'm really positive is Natalie and Nadia. Because even though Rupert finished they were out second, Natalie and Nadia were out first the second time they played. So, Natalie and Nadia. That's my final answer.
That is correct. Natalie and Nadia did finish last on The Amazing Race 24, and they did so well on 21. Nadia has a real knack for getting in last. But so does Natalie, I guess, now, too. Ever since Winners at War, yeah. They both have finished in last in something twice.
But they're still really fun to watch. I like them a lot.
No, there's a good reason why they brought him back for the season after they were on 21. All right, yes, and Rupert and Laura did, as we mentioned earlier, did finish, I think, like next to last on 31.
I think they were out second.
Very iconic when Rupert was on the elephant, like, oh, you're my spirit animal. Yeah.
I love Rupert.
All right, question 8. On The Amazing Race 31, what was Corinne and Eliza's average placement on the race? A, 8.75, B, 3.25, C, 5.75, or D, 7.25.
Again with the numbers.
And I can clarify the question if it doesn't make sense, but I feel like
no, I understand. Yeah, you finished 8th or 6th or 7th. What was their average? I know they were like lower of the pack most of the time. So can you read those one more time?
Sure. 8.75, 3.25, 5.75, or 7.25.
Okay, so the 8 would mean they would finish like last all the time. The 3 would mean they'd finish in the top all the time, which I know is true. 5 is middle and 7 is middle. So are they top middle or lower middle? Let's go with lower middle. Let's go with 7.25.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. 7.25 was their average placement on The Amazing Race 31. They didn't do too hot, as you mentioned. In fact, I think they only got placed one. They only got one better than Rupert and Laura.
Yeah, they went out right after Rupert and Laura. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, so they would have only gotten like 3 legs. Yeah. Okay.
That's for sure. All right. Question 9. Which survivor or survivors was the first one to be on a season of The Amazing Race that was shot in high definition? A, Rob and Amber. B, Mike White. C, Ethan and Jenna. Or D, Natalie and Nadia.
Okay, I don't know why this random fact stuck with me, but it did because it's random. But I'm pretty sure that's B, Mike White.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that is my final answer.
That's correct. He was on The Amazing Race 18. That was the first season shot in HD, which is the unfinished business season, which we did watch. That was one with the Cowboys, you mentioned earlier. Rob and Amber were never on season HD. Ethan and Jenna were on the following season, season 19. And then Natalie and Nadia, of course, were later. Okay, question 10. Which survivor pair raced on a season where an all-female team won? A, Keith and Whitney on season 25. B, Rob and Amber on season 11. C. Ethan and Jenna on season 19, or D. Rupert and Laura on season 31? Which one raced on a season where an all-female team won that season?
So I'm running through the winners of those seasons in my mind. Surprisingly, I didn't focus on them as much because they were not survivors.
Wow.
So I know it's not Rob and Amber because that was David and Uchenna won that season.
That was season 7, but that's okay.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not supposed to even tell you that, I don't think.
Sorry.
No, season 7 was the one with Uchenna and Joyce.
Okay.
You said Dave and Uchenna.
Whatever.
Uchenna married again.
I'm sorry. Okay, never mind.
That's okay.
I know it's not the one with Rupert.
Mm-hmm.
Read them one more time.
Yeah. A. Keith and Whitney on season 25. B. Rob and Amber on Amazing Race 11. C. Ethan and Jenna on 19. Or D. Rupert and Laura on 31.
I'm pretty sure it's not Ethan and Jenna because they barely even had female teams on their season.
I think every
there was
season
like
has 2 all-female teams.
Yeah. Which is why they hardly ever win. I'm going to go with Keith and Whitney.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. Keith and Whitney, their season is the only one of all the survivors where they had an all-female team win. Usually it seems like the normal winning team is like a male and a female. It's like the perfect combination. But no, Keith and Whitney were on a season where an all-female team won. You know what? We watched that season 11, and I don't think we even finished it because we were just got so bored because they had so many non-elimination lags, and like all the good teams went. Like all the teams we cared about went early, and then we did, because that one team that won, we were like, oh my gosh, I forgot what their names were, but they were like from another season where they weren't even paired on that season. They just dated afterwards, and they threw them together on All Stars. It was I don't know, they ruined the whole season.
I don't even remember
their name.
I don't even remember.
I just know it wasn't an all female team for the question, but yeah, it was. It kind of bummed that season. All right, question 11. Which of these racing pairs is the only one to not come back for an Amazing Race returnee season? A. Rob and Amber. B. Mel and Mike. C. Ethan and Jenna. Or D. Natalie and Nadia?
Oh, that one's easy. That's Ethan and Jenna.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. They were only on season 19. Rob and Amber were on 7 and 11. Mel and Mike were on 14 and 18, as we mentioned earlier. And Natalie and Nadia were on 21 and 24. Yeah, I guess through context clues, the last questions, you could have figured out that one out. Anyways. All right, question 12. Which survivor pair is the only one to never finish in last place on a leg of the Amazing Race? A. Ethan and Jenna. B. Rob and Amber. C. Corinne and Eliza. Or D. Chris and Brett? Never finished in last place on a leg of the race.
Okay, this is kind of confusing to me because you have to be eliminated at some point, and all these teams were eliminated, which means they finished last. But I know for sure that Rob and Amber are like amazing, and they finished second at one point, which would mean they didn't finish last.
Yep.
So maybe, is that what you're meaning? Is it Rob and Amber?
Is that your final answer?
That's the only answer I can think of. So yes.
That is incorrect.
What?
Rob and Amber, while they did get second on the Amazing Race 7, we are talking about which survivor pair is the only one never finished in last place on a leg of the Amazing Race. They did finish in last place.
Right, because they were
on
eliminated.
season 11 and got eliminated. Ethan and Jenna never finished in last place.
Oh my god.
Because they got eliminated on a double elimination, and they were not the last team. They got screwed by that twist.
I should have remembered.
So we moved down to the speed bumps. It's actually okay. This is your first speed bump. So if you have to get this right to get back on the race, but if you miss it, you're out of the race and you lose.
Okay.
All right. Question 1 for speed bump. Which survivor pair has finished the best on any season of the Amazing Race? Just one season. A. Rob and Amber. B. Ethan and Jenna. C. Natalie and Nadia. Or D. Chris and Brett?
Well, Rob and Amber, because they got second. They're the only ones to get that far.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct, as we have mentioned before. Or actually, you've mentioned. I
just said it like 2 seconds ago.
That, well, I didn't. Hey, I don't plan. Like, I'm not like, oh, you're gonna miss this question, so you can. Yeah. Anyways, Rob and Amber is correct. Yeah, they finished second on the Amazing Race 7.
Good. Okay.
All right, let's get back into the race. Question 13. Which season of The Amazing Race featured a U-turn where everyone on the race got to vote publicly for who they wanted to get U-turned? A, The Amazing Race 7, B, The Amazing Race 24, C, The Amazing Race 25, or D, The Amazing Race 31?
Oh, man. Okay, so I remember this because it was really cool. It was the only time they ever did it. I'm trying to like picture the teams that were standing around. Okay, it had to have been season 31 because Colin and Christy were there. Teams from Big Brother were there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's season 31.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. It was season 31 because, as you mentioned, this was the season where they're like, well, you got all these Big Brother people. Yeah. They have all these people from Big Brother, all these people from Survivor. So they did that, but they kind of botched the execution of it. They should have had everyone vote secretly instead of voting out loud in front of everybody.
Well, I think that was part of it. Like,
yeah.
Why else would
there's a reason why Big Brother and Survivor has them vote secretly, so that the real drama can happen. Once one team looks like they're going, it's like, all right, yeah, I'll just vote.
Just for fall another team.
It becomes, the social pressure doesn't work out as well. So, anyways, all right, question 14. Which survivor or survivors has finished better on their second time on The Amazing Race than they did on their first time? A, Rob and Amber, B, Mike White, C, Natalie and Nadia, or D, nobody? So we'll talk through this. How did these people
Okay, well, as I just mentioned, Rob and Amber finished second the first time they played. And then the second time they were eliminated, third or fourth? So I know it's not them.
Okay.
Mike White. I'm going to skip him for now. Natalie and Nadia. First time they played, we just watched the season where they went all the way almost to the end, where they were third or...
So it's true, we did just watch this, yeah.
And so the second time they played, they got out first. So I know it's not them. So it's either Mike White or none. I'm going to say none, because why else would you put none?
So you're trying to figure out how I just wrote the question. You don't actually know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct. By reading the questions and how you figured out that must have been the right answer. It's really because no other team has raced twice that I could put. Chris and Brett, Corinne and Eliza, Ethan and Jenna, and then Rupert and Laura never raced a second time, so I couldn't put. Sure. I could have put them, but that just none would have been. I mean, none's.
No,
the right
you
answer.
had to, because none was the right answer.
I think Mike White actually. I don't remember the exact placement, but on 14 they definitely did better than him, and I think it was him and his dad did better than on season 18. So, yeah. All right. So we are on to our last question. You actually got here legitimately this time.
Hey,
instead
what
of
are you saying?
Cheating.
I didn't
through Edge of
cheat.
Extinction. Yeah. So you have one 50-50 lifeline left. And if you get this one right or wrong, we'll still do that other speed bump question that, if you get this one wrong, you're going to do the speed bump. And then you have to go back to the question. But if you get this one right, we'll do speed bump question anyways. Okay. All right. Question 15. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Which season of The Amazing Race is the only one to have visited Uganda, the country of Uganda? A, The Amazing Race 7, B, The Amazing Race 14, C, The Amazing Race 24, or D, The Amazing Race 31?
Okay, I definitely need to use my 50-50 because I am not sure at all.
Okay, so your options then are The Amazing Race 24, C, or D, The Amazing Race 31.
Okay. Did not visit Uganda?
This is the only season of The Amazing Race to have actually visited Uganda.
Oh, they did visit Uganda.
Visit Uganda.
Sorry. Either way.
No season has ever done this before them. Or after, I guess, actually.
I'm just going to have to take a guess. So you said 24 or 31?
Mm-hmm.
31.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final
answer. Are you
sure?
sure?
No. But yes, 31.
That is correct. It was The Amazing Race 31. No season before them has ever visited Uganda. So
weird.
You used all your 50-50 lifelines. Went to the speed bump once, but you did You did win legitimately.
So do I get $1 million?
You get $1 million thanks from all of the listeners.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good job. All right. So since you won, we'll do the only remaining speed bump question. Now, of course, I did design the speed bump questions to be a little bit easier, so you actually get back in the race more likely. So, all right. Which Survivor Castaway has played on more seasons of The Amazing Race than they have seasons of Survivor? A. Mike White, B. Jenna Maraska, C. Amber Burkich, or D. Rupert Bonham?
The only possible answer would be Mike, because he played twice on Amazing Race and only once in Survivor.
Yeah, that's correct, because he only played on David versus Goliath.
Yeah. And
then played on, as we mentioned multiple times, 2 seasons of The Amazing Race. I was really thinking like, oh, could I do more questions for this? But I was like, man, how many times can I put like Rob and Amber, Mike, there's only so many teams to pull questions from. So anyways, I hope everyone had fun listening. This upcoming soon, I want to say this Monday, but I'm not 1,000% sure what the date is that we're releasing this podcast. So coming soon, the Ethan and Jenna story video will be released. And if you guys like it, we might do some more on some of these other Amazing Race survivors who played in other seasons, but we'll do it after they do a Survivor season. I don't want to do it before where they do Survivor on the channel.
Yeah. Do a lot of people even know that Ethan and Jenna were dating? I mean, I know I'm not like...
I think a lot of people knew they were dating. I don't think everyone knows they played in The Amazing Race together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really the thing. They dated for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for like years and years. By the time they were on The Amazing Race, they've dated for 7 years.
That's crazy.
So it was quite a while. Quite a while. And did you know Ethan also dated Amber Burkich?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was on
How long did they date?
I actually don't know. They were... So in the Survivor Amazon reunion show, they were sitting next to each other, but I think it's also been publicly admitted that they dated at some point. Gotcha. So when they're on All Stars and Amber's falling in love with Rob, her ex-boyfriend's there. So interesting. Yeah. So
the drama.
When we get to All Stars, we'll keep a lookout for that. See if there's, I don't know if that even comes up at all, but it is something that happened in the past. Also, you don't know this person, but Ethan also dated Jenna Lewis from Survivor Borneo. So anyways.
Why do you know all of their ex-girlfriends?
I just know Ethan's ex-girlfriends, apparently, so it's like public knowledge. All right, everyone, thank you for listening and tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.